Greetings, I am Shelson Jingales, third year business administration student from Haines City, Florida, and welcome to my TED Talk. Today's topic, effective methods of preventing and minimizing fraud. So in understanding fraud, it's important to understand three key elements: what, why, and how. So why does fraud happen? What is the definition of fraud? How does it happen in order to prevent it? So in minimizing fraud, also being realistic with yourself, you can prevent every opportunity from fraud, but you can also minimize it, and this is the most cost-efficient way for companies to prevent fraud and to just save themselves some money when it comes to fraud. So, what is fraud? Fraud is the wrongful or criminal decision intended to result in financial or personal gain. There's two key words in here. First of all, it's intentional. Fraud is definitely intentional. Fraudsters know what they're doing, so it's important in understanding what is an accident and what is intentional. Second thing, financial or personal gain. This phrase right here. What does this mean? This means that they're receiving something wrongfully that will help them gain an advantage over others, whether it's finances or assets or even just the opportunity to hold something over somebody else. So this is very important to understand. Who commits fraud? So who is your target when you're setting these controls in order to prevent fraud? It's very important to understand fraud can happen anywhere and anyone can commit it. So you should try to limit any opportunity, whether it's at an executive level to a lower level. It's very important to understand that anybody given the opportunity, whether they say they're a fraudster or not, can commit fraud and they can become a fraudster. So this is very important. Second thing, why does fraud happen? Let's go with third thing. So opportunity, rationalization, and pressures. Given the opportunity, along with rationalization and pressures, this allows people to commit fraud. So you have to eliminate this opportunity so that way there cannot be no rationalization or pressure, because you don't know what people have going on in their lives, what struggles they're actually having on the inside. So it's very important to limit any opportunity in order to be justified by rationalization and pressure. So you say, so what is the difference between maybe a top tier company who fraud commits less and smaller companies that have a problem with fraud? Well, it starts with leadership. Executives set the tone. So having a strong, rigorous hiring process is very important, because the people you let in at the top can set the tone for the people you let in at the bottom. It's very important to understand that people, even though you may not be able to stop every executive who can commit fraud, it's very important to know who you're hiring and why you're hiring them in order to see if they're a fit with your culture. This is very important. So, what's that difference? Strong controls, strong culture, whistleblower systems, and strong leadership. These are all key components if you look at it in comparison to strong companies, elite companies who fraud happens less, and lower tier companies that sometimes fraud occurs often and over repetitively because of certain aspects. So, examples of some strong companies: Zappos, Publix, Google, Southwest Airlines, Facebook. These are some top tier companies that you don't hear fraud occurring often, even though fraud has occurred before probably, but the fact of the matter is there's less opportunity. They have a strong culture. These are things that they implement on purpose. This is not an accident. So it's very important understanding the difference between strong controls and weak controls, the difference between a strong culture and a weak culture. This is some important differences that we're about to get into. So the formula. So you're asking me, so how do I stop my company from from the opportunity of fraud being committed? So creating a family feel, ownership of the company. It's always important to make your associates feel important. It's very important because this will make it less likely for them to have any rationalization to commit fraud. So it's very important to give them maybe ownership of a company, incentives, constant reminders also that fraud is not tolerated, is not going to be tolerated, and you will be prosecuted. Another thing is proper training. Making sure everybody in the community or everybody who is a part of your company understands how to detect fraud and why fraud is important to be detected, and having a whistleblower system in place so that way they can safely communicate when they see fraud occurring, and having incentives in place in order to motivate them to report people. And also set an example of perpetrators who do commit the fraud. So next thing, the key, creating a perception and culture. This is very important, and this is the key aspect in the difference between a great company and an elite company. A family feel, Google, Publix, these are some companies who really make their associates feel like it's a great place to work and that they are appreciated. This is very important because when people feel appreciated, they're less likely to turn on you and they're less likely to commit fraud. You may not stop every opportunity, you may not stop everybody, but this will limit and this will also allow people around them who will commit fraud to be reported and to be caught. So incentives, bonuses, stocks in the company, these are some great incentives in order to help motivate people to want to be loyal to you and to commit less fraud. Understanding what type of companies and executives you want in your culture and your company. It's very important to set your standards and to stick by your standards. So you can't just hire somebody who fits 4 out of 5 boxes. You need to ensure that everybody in your company fits the same morals, so that way you know that at least everybody around you is just like you. This is important because fraud can be committed by different unethical people. So trying to weed out those people will prevent less opportunities for fraud and less people who in your company who may commit fraud. Language. Language is also another way to minimize fraud. So using words like us and we, making employees feel like they're a part of the company and making them feel like they're appreciated is once again very important. Having words such as this, billboards, break rooms, etc. This is very important. So constant reminders. You need to always remind them that they're appreciated, but also that fraud is not tolerated. Having workshops, even having a committee that sort of sets different rules and stuff in place in order to try and help you. It's important to understand from the workplace situation where opportunities may present itself, so that way, if in case you miss something at the beginning of your internal controls, you can implement internal controls in order to prevent more opportunities. So whistleblower systems. This is a very important aspect also. You need to assure that everyone is aware how to, first of all, turn in somebody if they're committing fraud. Second of all, making sure that you use an external company rather than an internal company, so that way it assures the safety of your employees. And third, provide incentives, whether it's cash, raises, whatever the case may be. It's very important. People love incentives and people will bite on incentives, and this will make them more likely to betray somebody who is committing fraud. So, examples of how to use language in trainings. So, in trainings, it's very important to emphasize that we are a company. I cannot do this without you. It's very important. Publix does a great job of this. For example, in trainings, whenever they have modules or trainings, they always emphasize we are a team. We need to do this. We need to do that. It's very important to use this language, and this is intentional because they want the employees to feel like, oh, well, this is a team, so if someone is stealing from the company, they're stealing from me. You want to create this perception in order to prevent and minimize fraud in the workplace. So, proper training. You need to properly teach and use different methods in order to communicate how to detect fraud, and so that way also to assure they know that they will be safe. So, set an example of any perpetrators. It's very important to understand that fraud will happen eventually, most likely. So if it does happen, making sure you do the proper steps in order to either terminate or to press charges in order to assure that people know that fraud is zero tolerance and that we're not going to tolerate it. So overall, being realistic with yourself. Fraud is going to occur or it might occur, so preventing opportunities for it to occur will minimize any opportunity and will also save you some money, because this is the most cost-efficient way to prevent fraud. So, allowing fraud not to happen will help you have a stronger company and also your employees will work harder for you. So, recap. Overall, culture is very important. Your language, everything that you do is very important. Everything needs to be intentional in order to make employees feel like you trust them, but at the same time, if they try to turn on you, you will catch them and they will be prosecuted. And overall, I just want to thank you for viewing me into my TED Talk, and I just want to emphasize the importance of preventing fraud to you in an innovative method of using culture and language and strong internal controls in order to assure that you are having the best the best workplace for your employees, but at the same time saving yourself the most money. So thank you.